You've heard of the Super Bowl? This is the Toilet Bowl coming up on Sunday with Cleveland visiting the New York Jets. Or Trysta, should I call it the Tank Bowl? Is two teams that maybe don't want to win on Sunday?
I think that this game, the only outcome that would make it even more embarrassing or even more perfect chef's kiss is if it ended in a tie, in like disastrous fashion. Kind of like that game where maybe there's a field goal to win and there's a timeout taken and the other team calls a timeout and then it's just tie, end of game, if it's expired.
I think the difference between most games and this one will be both coaching staffs are generally trying to win. Both these coaching staffs might be trying to actively lose this game if it goes to overtime at the very end, which I think will be interesting. You used a fun word there, embarrassing. Which team is more embarrassing right now? The Cleveland Browns or the New York Jets, and why?
I think it's got to be the Jets, really. Because basically had Aaron Rodgers and he looked as broken as he ever has with you.
Oh, I don't want
Yes,
to go.
Okay. But I'm going to continue. You get these high talent, high ceiling players, and then you just rinse and repeat, get rid of them. Like you get rid of Quinnen, you get rid of Sauce. Yes, maybe the deal made sense. 2 first rounds is great. But like you can't just keep recycling players for picks down to the race to the bottom. Yes, the Browns are bad, but like the Jets at least are in a big market and should be better.
I think you can keep doing that recycling process because the idea that, well, all these other GM, and maybe the Jets organization screws this up too, but the idea that like 20 years ago the Jets didn't draft and develop the right guys doesn't mean that they can't do it here today. I'll be honest, I think the Browns are more embarrassing here with this Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders situation stretching on. The head coach just gave up play calling duties. At least the Jets have a clearly defined path that they're taking right now. The Browns, from the Deshaun Watson fiasco now to this, I think the Browns are more embarrassing right now.
Didn't the Jets just bench our guy Justin Fields not a month ago and bring
came
out
back in,
Tyrod
won
Taylor?
the game before the bye week. The Jets are embarrassing too, but we did get a nice Justin Fields win heading into the bye week for the Jets.
Yeah, so I think like they're both kind of messes. At least the Jets, I guess, have a quarterback that we could say is like somewhat competent. No shade to Dylan Gabriel, go Ducks. But yeah, I think both teams are kind of disgusting in their own unique ways.
I would take Oregon, speaking of go Ducks, Oregon quarterback Dante Moore over both Justin Fields and Dylan Gabriel today. Not even next year. I would take them today. Which organization needs a franchise quarterback more, Browns or Jets, and why? Go.
Browns, because they just continue to F it up. They continue to not have one. This whole controversy with Deshaun Watson and like where is he going to be in this whole scenario? We don't want Shadur, but like we drafted Shadur and then the owner comes out and says like, well, I didn't even know he was coming here. The whole like we're trading Shadur, but we may play Shadur the last 4 weeks of the season. We don't know why they took Dylan Gabriel. The whole thing is messy. If they had a franchise quarterback with this defense, at least we'd have something.
I think the Browns are the answer also, because I think the Jets might wait 3 first-rounders in 27. Both these organizations have 2 first-rounders in 26. So do the Rams, and I think the Rams might be a quarterback team with Matthew Stafford maybe looking at retirement here. I think it's going to be fascinating. But I think the Jets might wait till 27 to take their quarterback. Browns, I think, will absolutely be in the market, top of next year's NFL draft for a quarterback. All right, I'm trying to say that, just because these organizations have screwed up quarterback development in the past doesn't mean they have to in the future. Which organization do you trust more to develop and get the quarterback right? The Browns or the Jets? What a question.
That's such a hard question. I am going to say Jets, just because of what we've seen with Baker Mayfield. They discard him. They treat him like trash. They had a guy who can pass for 4,000 yards, and he's not in the building just because he was an Iron Man and wanted to fight through a torn double labrum, whatever collarbone issue that he had. So I think I trust the Jets a little more, but it's very close.
I'll actually take the Browns as long as they keep Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski's a really good coach, has never really had his own quarterback to work with, started with Baker, then had Deshaun Watson foisted on him. Now this poo-poo platter of rookies, emphasis on poo-poo. I think if you give Kevin Stefanski his own guy, I think that Kevin Stefanski might be able to cook. Out of these two teams, which one has more of an incentive to be bad this year, Browns or Jets?
Jets. Has to be Jets.
I'm going to say Cleveland because, again, like the Jets are loaded in 27. I think the Jets want to be bad this year and next year. The Browns have to get the number 1 pick or close to it in the draft this year to make sure they get the quarterback of their choice, whether it's Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, Alabama's Ty Simpson. I think the Browns need to make sure they get number 1 or close to it so they can get the quarterback they want.
But do you trust any of these quarterbacks in college right now to change the fortunes of the Browns?
I liked Alabama's Ty Simpson quite a bit, and I think when Alabama gets to the title game and loses to Ohio State in the national title game, everyone's going to love Ty Simpson. Mendoza and Dante Moore are both really good also. Ty Simpson is my guy in this year's draft.